Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the MTL Sports Podcast. We are on episode 39. All right, we're getting pretty far along in the episode count, so we're doing pretty good things over here. But even better though, Week 3 NFL action is almost done. We got 2 games tonight, so we might do a light preview of the games tonight. Actually, there's a game that just started. Tampa Bay versus the Eagles. They just started, and I believe Who Dey Cincinnati Bengals versus Los Angeles Rams will, tip off in about an hour or so. I'm recording it at a little before 7:30, so we'll give you a light preview. Maybe I can get this episode out tonight, but if not, early tomorrow morning. But we'll preview. We'll go over Week 3 action, and then this will be a pretty short episode. As you can see, I'm gonna be solo today. Tomorrow, you have a solo episode from Lawrence. And then we'll get the gang back together on Wednesday. And of course preview the rest of the week. But as far as today, Week 3 recap, NFL, and then we move into rapid fire where we got some topics. Unfortunately, Colorado lost, and Dame rumors. I don't know if you saw them as much as I saw them, but they're definitely heating up. So we got plenty to talk about as far as Dame and where he might be going. So with all that being said, y'all, let's get at it. All right, everyone, and we're back. Let's recap Week 3 of NFL action. Like I said in the opener, we still got 2 games that have to go down tonight, but we'll do a light preview of those games coming up. We'll do those first, actually. So we got the Eagles, we got Tampa Bay. Both teams are 2-0. Surprisingly, Tampa Bay is 2-0. Baker has been playing pretty well to Baker standards. All right. Did a lot of us expect Tampa Bay to start this season 2-0? Honestly, no. I had Tampa Bay not winning too many games and not being a real contender in the division. But with the Saints losing, and I think the Falcons lose as well, I'm not too sure, but we'll check up on that. But that division is up for grabs for sure. And if they somehow beat the Eagles, then they're going to be in a commanding position of that division with a 3-0 record. So it'll be interesting to see. Eagles steamrolling through the competition so far, but the defense has been suspect. So we'll see if the defense can get things rolling. We know the offense is still clicking on most of the same cylinders as last season. Little AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. Little argument, I guess, is what they called it. A little, not like a scuffle or anything like that. Nothing too major, as AJ Brown wants to say, but it was definitely, if you're a fan or if you're just an onlooker, you're definitely a little concerned at what happened last week. Last Thursday night game when it was pretty obvious that AJ Brown was pretty upset with whatever. But I think I already called the game. Eagles was going to win. That's why I'm predicting. Looking at the spread, let me pull up the spread. Let's do the GameCast. Honestly, it isn't even. Honestly, guys, it isn't even. This is ESPN. So, the pregame spread was Philly by 6. So, and the over/under is 44. So maybe take the over. Whatever the live over is, I don't know. I'm not logged into FanDuel, so maybe I won't give you any bets tonight. But that's the first game. Second game of the night, we got Who Dey. I'm wearing a shirt, y'all. Bengals 0-2, not the best start. We were in this position last year. In the expanded playoff era, there's only been one team to start 0-2 and make the playoffs. And you damn sure know who it is. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. Last year, Joe Burrow and crew started 0-2. Wasn't looking too hot. A lot of people were saying Super Bowl hangover, even though we didn't win. Super Bowl hangover got to us. We proved them wrong. Got all the way back to the AFC Championship. One stupid call. I'm going to say it. One stupid call away from going back. Joe didn't play his best game in that AFC Championship anyway, but we're not going to go there. But so we've been we as in the Cincinnati has been in this position before. Unfortunately, haven't been in 0-3 position, so I don't want to go into that uncharted territory. I think that's very, very dangerous. Joe is looking like he's going to play tonight. He's been testing the ankle all week or the calf. and did a special workout this morning. And throughout the day, they kind of test the calf, see where he's at. And I guess with the sleeve, it's going to work some magic, and the magic Hyper X gun or whatever you call it, or the Theragun or whatever. Hopefully that can get him to a good enough playing shape to at least try to play through pain, I guess. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but injuring a calf is just one of the most, I think it's up there with the hammy with just like painful injuries, because you need your calf for everything. You need your hammy for everything as well. So we're going to see a lot of shotgun formation, a lot of limited movement from Joe. Aaron Donald's going to pressure the offensive line, which has gotten better. But I think there will be occasions where Joe will try to run for his life, and I think he quite possibly might re-aggravate it. Hopefully this won't be the case. Hopefully Cincinnati has some outstanding miracle medicine that I don't know about, or the fans, or we don't know about. So hopefully they can get this man to good enough playing shape. But I'm pretty confident, even with if he does go down, or if he can only play like a series or two. I think with all the weapons we have, or Cincinnati has, and Jake Brown is a decent enough backup. He played pretty well in the preseason, so I'm not too worried that we can't squeak this one out. And if we have to sit Joe, we have to sit Joe. That's just a reality situation, guys. And if you're a Cincinnati fan and you're listening, you're just going to have to sit Joe after this game if he doesn't look well, and just try to fight our way to week 7, man, because that's the bye week, and that's our best chance. All right, you can't just keep having Joe limp through the season and expect the same results as last season. That's insanity. All right, we can't have that. So I think this is the make or break game. This is the game where we decide how we're going to move forward. If we win, unfortunately, Joe's going to have to probably keep just sucking it up. If we lose, you probably got to sit Joe until week 7. Or I guess week 8, because week 7's the bye. So we'll see. I got the Bengals winning tonight. It'll be a close game. Rams are good, better than last year. Puka is doubtful again, I think, because I think he was last week. So we'll see. I got the Bengals winning a close game. They probably win by 3. But let's recap. Let me share my screen with you guys. We're going to recap week 7. And just go from there, guys. All right, so I know before we called it 7-minute drive down the field. Today the actual segment, we're gonna call it the 2-minute offense. All right, we're gonna speedily get through some of these games, some of the important games, because some of these games, were kind of trash, so we're not really gonna talk about them. One of the trash games, Titans and Browns. Titans they looked really good through 2 games, but I don't know about these Browns, but the Browns defense is just outstanding. I think we need to pay more attention to them. I literally saw Myles Garrett sack an offensive tackle and Ryan Tannehill yesterday. I mean, it was just insane. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. So that man is insane. Definitely in defensive player of the year conversation. But there's not too much else to say about that game. Plus, I ain't watching much of it, to be honest. Falcons, Lions. Both teams have had impressive wins thus far. As you can see, they both finished this game 2-1. Lions still look good at home. We'll see how they look on the road. But at home, you definitely can say the Lions are a formidable opponent. Falcons, and I kind of had a pooper of a game. Offense didn't really get off to a good start. Moving along, a game that I did pay attention to a lot is the Saints-Packers game, and honestly, it just came down to the Saints kicker just shanking the last kick. And it wasn't even that long of a field goal. I think it was like 48 yards, and he just shanked it. And it was an impressive comeback by Jordan Love. I will admit that. Because I think they were like scoreless. They were scoreless. And then Jordan Love scores 2 touchdowns, converts a 2-point I think a 2-point conversion, right? And he just played outstanding. Like, that was a great fourth quarter by him. That was like very Brett Favre, like very Aaron Rodgers-esque. Like, this kid has all the makings to be like that third great Green Bay quarterback. Now, it's too early to say. And the completion percentage isn't the best. 22 or 44 is definitely not something I want to see. But on the other side, Derek Carr did get hurt. He left the game with a shoulder injury. We don't know how severe it is. At least I haven't heard any news from that team today. So we don't know how severe it is. We don't know if Jameis is going to potentially start again or take over the helm next week. But if you haven't seen Alvin Kamara's video he dropped on Twitter today, it's his first day out. So I suggest you go to his Twitter and watch what he posted because it's very, very funny. So as you can see, Kendre Miller has some yards. Taysom Hill, the multi-tool guy. Yeah, they need some help on that in terms of running backs because I think Jamal Williams is out. So Kamara will be a welcome addition back from his suspension. So Saints should rebound next week. Let's see who they play. It doesn't say who they play. So, oh well, they'll bounce back next week. I will vouch on that. Now we're not gonna talk too much about this shit show right here. Broncos just got embarrassed. I've never seen a team put up 70 points in real life, only in Madden. This was very much a Madden simulation to me. Like, as good as we've been talking about the Broncos secondary, like they looked non-existent yesterday. And overall, the Broncos defense is just horrible through like the first 3 games, like just allowing points. Like that's your whole identity. Like what the hell is going on? Like this is unacceptable. As Shannon said today, like it's unacceptable. Like you got your ass whooped. Like that's not okay. That's all we're gonna say about that. Then the Chargers and Vikings. This was a good game, and Lawrence said it. He said, they're gonna be in a bunch of close games, and unlike last year, they're gonna lose a lot of these close games. And what do you know? They lost another close game. Like the Vikings should have won this game, and what sealed it was Kirk Cousins' his interception in the red zone. I mean, that kind of sealed the deal. And then you've seen this replay of that lucky touchdown. Like Chargers got a lucky break right there. Mike Williams tore his ACL, so he left the game. I think probably like a good chunk of the way into the third. He left the game, so we'll see how the Chargers look going forward because they are down one of their main receivers. Still have Keenan Allen. That Parham kid has been doing pretty well. But we'll just see where they are next week and if who's going to step up on the offense in terms of receivers. But they got a lucky break. I think Chargers play Dallas next week, so yeah, we'll see. Chargers still aren't off the hook yet. 1-2 is still not good for a team that has as much hype as they've had the past couple of years, especially going into this season. You changed your offensive coordinator, and apparently that was your problem last year when obviously it wasn't. So I guess they have a new scapegoat now, and yeah, Brian Staley might lose his job if they continue to play poorly. I think we all know that though. So Patriots Jets, another kind of pooper game. Patriots honestly should have won by way more, but the Jets defense is still going to be there. But I do feel for him. Zach Wilson is just not. I'm not going to say he's not a good quarterback, but he obviously just is not in the right. Like, not only is his confidence shattered, and I don't think he had much to begin with, but I honestly just don't think he's like ready to play. I think he needs like legit a year behind a competent starter. Like he needed this year behind Aaron Rodgers to like actually get to the point where, okay, you feel good about him like going out there and like backing up somebody, or like, okay, eventually, Aaron Rodgers is going to retire. Like you would feel good about Zach Wilson like replacing Aaron for like a short while, like while you try to draft your next quarterback or whatever the case might be. Maybe you go try and trade for another one. I don't know, but any one of those scenarios involve Zach Wilson sitting for at least another year, and throwing this kid back into the fire is just making it all worse. Thus, Jets are suffering, the team is suffering, and Robert Saleh might lose his job because he just won't go sign another quarterback. And now I'm honestly thinking that Carson Wentz would be a better option. I'm honestly thinking that Cam Newton would be a better option. I'm honestly thinking that Colt McCoy might be a better option because this kid is he's just not it. And the team knows it. The body language, the way they talk to each other makes it very obvious. So we'll see if they learn their lesson, and before they dig themselves too deep of a hole, let's see if they go and call one of these vets. Bills Commanders, another poop game. Literally the Commanders, I don't know what happened. The defense looked awesome against the Broncos, but I guess after what happened yesterday to the Broncos by Miami, we really can't use that measuring stick for the Commanders because the Broncos are just trash and they just look awful, and they might be competing for that Caleb Williams sweepstakes if they have any picks left. So other than that, Sam Howell kind of reverted back to where I thought he would be, which is kind of like a turnover prone rookie. I mean, honestly, he is a rookie because he only started one game last year. He only has 4 starts under his belt. To me, he's just a rookie. So he kind of just reverted back to being a rookie, making mistakes, holding on to the ball too long, which has always been his problem. And just really kept the Commanders at the game. Couldn't get on the roll. For whatever reason, Eric Bieniemy is just not running the ball. I know Antonio Gibson has been fumbling a lot as of the past 3 games, but you got to give Brian Robinson the ball. You got to give some of these kids the ball and take some of the pressure off of Sam. Sam does not need to be throwing as much, and you already know he holds on the ball too long. You're just going to put him in harm's way. Offensive line is terrible. The kid's just going to get beat up, and eventually he's going to get injured. So as the Commanders, you got to fix that. And you Commanders fans, you got to stop with all of this rhetoric about you guys are so great and you expect so much from EB, this and that, the third. You guys are all right. You basically playing with a rookie quarterback. You can't have. I know you changed ownerships. You got a good owner in there. The energy is different. I understand that, but there's baby steps. All right, baby steps. You're on step 1. All right. Don't immediately think you're going to the Super Bowl just because you change owners and Sam Howell looked decent in 2 games. All right, let's press the brakes a little bit. Texans, Jags, very surprising. CJ Stroud looked good. Jags offense just wasn't clicking for whatever reason. I don't know. They'll bounce back. I wouldn't put too much stock into this. Colts actually beat the Ravens. Ravens offense looked stale. So I don't know. It kind of makes you wonder, okay, Joe Burrow barely lost last week off of 1 leg. What does that really say about the Ravens? I was going into this season thinking that the Ravens were kind of overrated anyway with the offense, with all these additions. They're talking about Odell this, and Zay Flowers this, and Duvernay this, and Bateman this. Don't get me wrong, Lamar is probably going to have a good case to be in the top 5 MVP, but I mean, I think same thing with the Commanders. I think it was just a little bit of overhype. I understand you're hyped about your team, but as of late, there's been a lot of question marks, and you haven't really answered too much of them. So I don't know. We'll see. I think the Ravens will bounce back as well. Colts surprisingly have been they'll have good spurts of defense, and then they won't. So they're wildly inconsistent, and surprisingly, they're 2-1. So I don't know. Good for Colts. Good if you're a Colts fan. Panthers Seahawks. I think it was closer than what the score says. And the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, did put up a good fight. As Lawrence, me and were texting. He did say that Andy Dalton give them a better shot than Bryce, which I agree with. I think Bryce isn't in the same camp as Zach Wilson. He doesn't need a city year, but Bryce would benefit from sitting for a year because that offensive line is so bad, and he's not experienced enough to play behind a bad offensive line and knowing that he has to get the ball out quick. Meanwhile, Andy Dalton has already experienced some of those things in the NFL, so as an experienced vet, he's getting the ball out of his hands quicker. He's moving up in the pocket, moving out of the pocket, still keeping his head downfield. Like, he's just doing things that not Justin Fields, Bryce Young just isn't doing because, he's a rookie. He's going to learn by, getting experience. And who knows? Maybe Andy Dalton keeps playing. I don't know how long Bryce is going to be out, but I think he does give the Panthers a good chance to win some of these games. And the Panthers are competitive. So maybe he'll sneak away with a game or two. Only time will tell. Bears, Chiefs. All you need to know is the Swifties are going crazy. Swifties are coming out. I think the Swifties are bigger fans than the actual Chiefs fans. So if you're a Chiefs fan, you might be hard pressed to find some tickets because all the Swifties are going to buy them. Them boys. Let's talk about them. You guys lost to the worst team in the NFL. Or at least the second or third worst team in the NFL. How do you let Mr. Joshua Dobbs beat you? All right. Not only was he just tearing you up with his throws, but he also had a couple big runs. Like, look, he had 6 carries for 55 yards. Who knew Josh Dobbs could run? Really? Yeah, I mean, they were pretty much running all over the Cowboys, and this was kind of a theme last season. Hey, teams finally found out, hey, if you run against the Cowboys, you have a decent chance of winning because they can't stop the run. What did the Cowboys use their first-round pick on? A defensive tackle. Why? Because they needed someone to clog the lane. Well, obviously the lane is still unclogged, and it's going to be a big problem. Hopefully more teams will exploit it because the only thing the Cowboys defense is concerned about is getting pressure on the quarterback. What's the one thing to stop getting the quarterback from getting pressured? Run the ball. What do you know? You do the one thing that works against that type of defense. You give yourself a shot to win the game. So shout out to the Cardinals, who are actually kind of sneaky good in terms of not sneaky good, but sneaky competitive. We all thought they would just be all in on the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, but honestly, I think they will be more than competitive in a lot of these games. So more to come with them. I think that just leaves us for the Steelers Raiders. Josh McDaniels is incompetent. I don't know what else to say. Why are you kicking a field goal when you're down 8 and you're literally on the 4-yard line? All you need is a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. This man is incompetent. I think he needs to lose his job after the season. But the Raiders are poor, and I don't think they can afford to fire him. So stuck with this man until his contract probably only has a year or 2 left. So whenever that is, it'll be a good day for Raiders Nation. But you guys are left with an incompetent head coach. I don't know what else is to say. Jimmy G looks like he's reverted. I don't think Jimmy G can get you double-digit wins anymore. He doesn't look good. Devontae Adams looks good. Jimmy G doesn't look good. Holding on to the ball too long. The way he's moving, it's just not you can tell his ankle is still bothering him. Like the report said, his ankles can give at any moment. It's not moving too well. It's going to be a long season for Raiders, and I actually had hope for you guys. So if you're a fan, I'm sorry you have to go through this. I'm going through it myself. My team is 0-2, so sometimes you gotta take one to the head, guys. That's all I gotta say about that. But yeah, that's pretty much week 3 action. Like I said, there's 2 games tonight. Previewed both of them, so check those out. Or if you're watching tomorrow, maybe go back and check some highlights. Maybe I was right, maybe I was wrong. Who knows? But I feel like I'll be right. I'm right most of the time. But coming up next, we have Rapid Fire. All right, everyone. So stay tuned for that, guys. Let's get into it. Rapid Fire. First up, a little bit of NCAA football, college football, FBS, ranked teams. We got Colorado. We got Oregon. A little showdown in Oregon. I don't know where they play in Oregon, but I think Eugene, Oregon. They all Nike'd up, Oregon, that is. and they put the smack down on Colorado. I think me and Lawrence both said that Colorado should be able to cover. Oh man, we were dead wrong. That was an ass whooping, and rightfully so. I think Colorado going into the game was what I mean. It's nothing wrong with being too cocky, too overconfident. They just literally tripled their wins from last season. They're on a high. Let them ride their high. If they're a real team, they'll win. If they're pretenders, they'll pretend and they'll just lose. And that's what happened. They lost. They lost really bad. And I think what's getting lost in this whole thing is we never expected Colorado to be this good in the first place. We never expected Colorado to actually win. Why do you think the spread was at one point it was plus 23? I saw that with my own eyes. So why are we going out here and trashing Colorado and trashing Coach Prime when we knew from the jump that they were probably not going to win this game? Did me and Lawrence pick them to win this game? No. We said they could have easily covered, which didn't happen. Hey, just had a bad game. They had a stinker. It happens. But that doesn't mean we get the trash. We get to trash them and say, "Oh, that's what I thought. You guys get humbled, this and that. You guys aren't that good in the first place." For what they've accomplished so far, I would say they're pretty damn good. And Coach Prime he admitted in the beginning of the season he was 7 or 8 players away. He's talking about the offense and defensive line. He already knew that if they lose a big game, it's gonna be because of that. So give the man a year, 2 years to actually recruit some of these big boys that go to Georgia, that go to Alabama, that go to USC, to go to some of these power schools, and see what he can do. You give him the same talent that Oregon has, that Alabama has, that Georgia has, LSU has, FSU has, he would do amazing things. So with inferior talent, he's beating up on TCU's arguably a good team. I know they're out the rankings now, and they don't look like the same team as last year, but hey, it was pretty impressive when it happened. So, moral of that game, they lost. They didn't cover. Oregon looks pretty good. I think the first series, they just drove the ball. They didn't have a single 3 and out. And that was pretty much the moral of the story. They couldn't get stopped, and Colorado just kept getting stopped. So, without arguably their best player, Travis Hunter, I don't know, just didn't look good. So, we'll see how they go. I think next week they play USC. So, we'll see how that turns out. Have yet to see the spread or anything on that game. So, I would say stay tuned till I guess the Wednesday episode, and then we'll have a better picture of how that's going to turn out. So that's all about that. And moving along, we got some NBA actually. We don't talk about NBA too much because football just started and it's kind of running the news, to the news wire, I guess. But a little bit of NBA news. Dame Lillard trade rumors are increasing, I would say. Over the past, I would say since like last Wednesday or Thursday, they've been heating up. And apparently, according to like a lot of people, a lot of, sports outlets, Portland's trying to get a deal done by training camp. So by media day is a week from today, Monday. So I think I think last week I told on the episode with Tevin I thought he was going to get traded last week, but obviously didn't happen. I think some deals were kind of close to getting done, and reportedly Raptors were probably about including one player away, aka including Scotty Barnes away from actually completing the trade. Usai Ujiri is kind of contemplating that. I would say if you're a Miami Heat fan, this is make or break time. Obviously, Pat Riley isn't going to give them the whole shebang. He's not going to give away all the assets. He's pretty content with what he has apparently. Even though we've lost Max Strus, even though we lost Gabe Vincent, He's pretty content with how the team looks now, and honestly, I can confidently say we're a top 4 team in the East. Now we're not going to be one because honestly it's probably going to be Boston, and then the second best team is going to be Milwaukee, and then 3 and 4 is kind of up for debate. Sixers, we don't know how the whole James Harden situation is going to play out. Obviously, he still wants to get traded, but Philly can't really find a trade partner and trade compensation to kind of make that a reality. Then you have Miami. The roster as is, it's definitely a top 4 roster in the East. Is that enough to get out the East? Yes, we've seen it happen last year. Went to the finals. Is it enough to win a chip? Hell no. We saw that almost 3 years in a row. Well, not in a row, but 2, 3, out of the 4 previous years, the roster just hasn't been good enough to win the whole thing. So there needs to be more improvement on the roster, and whether that happens before training camp, whether that happens before the trade deadline, at some point we need to make a move. We being Miami, there needs to be some type of honestly game altering trade to put this team over the top. Dame is that. Is there another player out there that could potentially be that? Honestly, outside of Dame, I think you can't really see that. I don't think that another player who's potentially available is going to put them over the top like Dame could. And for what it would cost, I think Miami should be more aggressive. Throw in an extra player. Who cares? Players are going to want to play with Dame. And whether they come through via trade or even next offseason, I think they have to play the long game because Dame is signed for like another 4 years. Miami has to play the long game, not just think about this year. Think about next year. If you land Dame somehow in the next offseason, whether you win it or not, players are going to want to come play. Not only do people love Miami, they love to live there, love to party, love the geography where it's located, the weather, all that good stuff. But they want to play with good players. And then you already have Bam, Jimmy, Dame. Somehow, if you keep Tyler Hero, I mean, there's possibilities of that happening from what I've seen. I think if you're Pat Riley, you got to get this done. You got to get this done. Now, I've seen some trade packages. A lot of them have kind of been centered as 4-team deals. Miami, of course, Portland. The Suns are like a lock as a 3rd team because I think they're really trying to get off Ayton. The 4th team has been up for debate. It's either been Indiana, Brooklyn, or Utah. All 3 teams have interest in Tyler Hero. So whatever team can pull off the biggest heist for Tyler Hero, or even just help unload contracts, because Phoenix is trying to move off of Ayton. And I think Phoenix will do everything in their power to get off of Ayton. Now, if you're Miami, we're not taking back Ayton, so Ayton's going somewhere else. Our goal is just to get Dame. Now, the one trade that I've seen, and it's very realistic, we send out, I think, Caleb Martin, Kyle Lowry, and I think Duncan. No, and then Jaime Jaquez. And then we get back, I think we get back Dame and Buddy Hield. I think that's the best trade offer that I've seen. And then, of course, Portland gets Ayton, and I think they get, depending on the team, they'll either get like, if Utah, they'll get THT. If Indiana, they'll get like potentially Buddy Hield. But if they don't want Buddy Hield, then they'll ship Buddy Hield to Miami, and then the Portland or Indiana will probably just ship Portland like an extra pick for compensation. And then I think, Indiana would get Tyler Hero, and then Phoenix would get Nurkic, who's a little bit cheaper than Ayton and doesn't have like a grudge against the organization. And then they'll probably get back another player and possibly a pick as well for moving off of Ayton. So I think there's a deal to be made, especially if they can get 3 or 4 teams involved. I do think it happens this week because, like a lot of people say, they're in Portland. I feel like is pretty motivated right now. I think Dame has made it pretty clear he's not going to be too happy, and I think honestly Joe Cronin is a coward, and I don't think that he wants to face all the media kind of craze and not really backlash, but just like, hey, the guy said he wanted to be traded. Why haven't you done it? And I don't think he's ready for all that smoke from the media. So I think the sooner he can get this done, the better for him. And then hopefully Miami has the last laugh, and hopefully Joe Cronin loses his job because this guy's an idiot and he's letting his ego, his very fragile ego, get in the way. So let the liar, let the GM do his job and try to get the best package he can for some damaged goods. But that's pretty much all I have. That's pretty much all I have for Rapid Fire, guys. Thank you for watching episode 39 of the MTL Sports Podcast. Remember, tomorrow's episode will be solo with Lawrence, so you'll just have Lawrence tomorrow, and then Wednesday we'll be back together to preview week 4 NFL, I think, and then week 5 of college football. So thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for all the love. Follow us on all social medias, Twitter, YouTube, Threads is coming soon, I promise. And yeah, with all that being said, have a good night, y'all. Enjoy Monday Night Football, and peace.
Me wind and rain, you're some kind of butterfly.